What's happening everyone, my name is Alex and welcome back to a new review. Today we are checking out another super affordable phone from Xiaomi called the Xiaomi Redmi 7. So you can find this phone for as low as $130. However, if you do get the version for $130, you're gonna get the version that comes with 2 gigs of RAM. And I do recommend trying to get the version with at least 3 gigs of RAM because the phone will perform better. Now, regardless of what version you get, they all come with the Snapdragon 632, and this is in fact the first phone that I've tried with the Snapdragon 632, and I have to say that I was quite impressed. So if you check the score on the AnTuTu benchmark, the score is just over 100,000, and all the apps that I've tried, including Facebook, Chrome and YouTube, they all work really well. On the YouTube app, the maximum resolution is 720p, however, that's the maximum resolution of the screen, so that was kind of to be expected. As for the gaming performance, well, you can still play some games on this phone, but don't imagine you're gonna be able to play the same games as on a flagship. So for example, PUBG, if you lower the graphics settings to minimum, you can still play and there is barely any lag. So definitely playable, and as you can probably see for yourself, it's more than enough for a phone around $130. The build quality is also decent, but nothing exceptional, and we basically have plastic everywhere. So the frame and the back are made out of plastic, and of course on the front we have glass covering the screen. Now we get the 3.5mm audio jack, something that I haven't seen in a lot of budget phones lately, and next to that 3.5mm audio jack we also have an IR blaster, so you can basically control your TV with this phone, or a VCR if you still have a VCR. On the left hand side we have the slot for the SIM card, and something again a bit unusual, this phone can take 2 SIM cards and an SD card at the same time, and that's definitely great because a lot of phones can only take an SD card and a SIM card at the same time. Not to mention the phone comes with 64 gigs of internal storage, and out of that you still have about 54 gigs of internal storage, and then you can just install that SD card and expand the internal storage. Moving to the bottom of the device, well, at the bottom there we have the microphone, we have the speaker, and unfortunately a micro USB charging port. And I'm not sure why they use the micro USB charging port, because this is my biggest complaint about this phone. So charging the phone from 0 to 100 takes about 3 hours, and that's not that quick, but considering that we have a 4000 mAh battery inside, I guess that makes sense. Now, the battery life on this phone is extremely good, so you can definitely get between 12 and 15 hours of screen on time, and that's the most that I've seen on any phone in the past year, I believe. So definitely great battery life from this phone, but that makes sense, 4000 mAh battery, and then that power efficient Snapdragon 632. As for the speaker, well, it does get kind of loud, but it sounds kind of tiny at the same time, so definitely not the best sounding speaker out there, and this is a quick example so you can hear how the speaker sounds.
Searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way. Birds chirping and I hear my name, grasping into a love.
Alright, so on the back of the phone we also have a fingerprint scanner, and the fingerprint scanner works 10 out of 10 times, so it works really well, and it is also extremely quick, so all you have to do is touch it and the screen will unlock. Next to that fingerprint scanner we have 2 cameras as well. We have a 12 megapixel camera and a 2 megapixel camera, but we'll talk about cameras in a bit. If you don't want to use the fingerprint scanner to unlock the phone also supports face unlocking. However, the face unlocking is done through the front-facing camera, and this is not as secure as the fingerprint scanner, not to mention that this doesn't work that well if you're not in a room with a lot of light. So keep that in mind, and me personally, I find the fingerprint scanner so much more convenient than the face unlocking. Moving to the front of the device, all the way at the top we have the speaker, and we also have that front-facing camera that I mentioned earlier. So this is an 8 megapixel front-facing camera. All the way at the bottom we also have a very small notification light, and of course the screen, and this is a 6.26 inches IPS screen that has a 720p resolution. The colors look great and the viewing angles are also great, but if you take the phone outside in direct sunlight, it doesn't get bright enough. So it's great for the indoors, not that great for the outdoors because of the brightness. Next we are talking about cameras, and when talking about cameras we definitely have to take the price into consideration, and in this case the price is $130, and I feel that for $130 this phone does really well in the camera department. First of all, it's using the exact same camera app that we've seen on a lot of Xiaomi devices in the past, and that also includes a Pro mode. The dynamic range is good, the picture detail is pretty decent, but I find that all the pictures are a bit oversaturated. But that's just my opinion, and some people may actually prefer those oversaturated pictures. I've even done a camera comparison video between this phone and the Huawei P30 Lite, and I definitely recommend that you check that video out because I've included about 100 pictures and you can see pictures in more situations and you can make up your own mind. But for me, for $130, I feel that this phone does really good with the cameras. As for the GPS unit inside it, well, like most Xiaomi phones, the phone only needs a couple of seconds to find your location. Once your location is found, it doesn't seem to lose it. For sensors, unfortunately the phone is missing a gyroscope, something that I was kind of not expecting, but I guess for $130 we don't get that. Connectivity wise, the phone supports 4G connectivity, but it doesn't support dual band Wi-Fi, so you can only connect to the 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi bands. Here in Canada the phone works on 2G, 3G and on 4G, but definitely check the bands before buying this device. As for the speeds over Wi-Fi and the 4G network, they were decent, but definitely not the best that I've seen. So to quickly conclude this video, for $130 you cannot go wrong with the Xiaomi Redmi 7. I mean, it does look good, it performs really good, the cameras are decent, the battery life is amazing. I wish to have dual band Wi-Fi. I'm kind of missing that 5 GHz Wi-Fi band. I wish the phone would have NFC, but realistically we don't see that many phones around $130 with NFC. And well, I wish the screen would get a bit brighter so I can use the phone better outdoors. But other than that, for $130 you cannot go wrong with this phone. Alright guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did like it, don't forget to press that like button, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.